Hey everyone, how's it going? And I would say morning. I just woke up, so I'm a little bit puffy. But you know what? Welcome back to another episode of Coffee Corner. Okay, so this is your freshly washed hair, and of course, we're gonna do something a little bit different today. Uh, it's more like a chatting, but not chatting, because I've received this comment a lot. They always ask, "Oh, your English is really good. How come I understand your English, but not native English speakers?" It's quite complicated to answer this question, but also not that difficult. So I thought might as well just do a video about it. That would be a better way to explain why you can understand my English, but not native English speakers. I think there are three major reasons, and I will break them down. But those are the three reasons I personally think might be why you understand me, but not other native English speakers. First is enunciation, second is articulation, and third is the most important part is culture. So let's talk about enunciation. We often mentioned about pronunciation or accent. We barely talk about enunciation. So what is enunciation? For me, because my profession, where I'm an ESL teacher, I'm trained to speak clearly so my students can understand me. And also because I've taught low levels for a very long time, I had to talk very clearly, slowly, so my students could understand me. So that's kind of like my force of habit. When I talk, I tend to enunciate every single sound there so other people can understand me. This also happened to my friend who is a lead singer in a choir, and when so she's a native English speaker. When she talks, she speaks really, really fast, but everybody understands her because her English is really clear, and she's trained to be clear because she is a singer. So that kind of strike me a little bit. It's maybe that's why I speak clearly too. I got trained to be like that. And also when I taught those low levels, I always repeated every single sentences and difficult words and other things very, very clearly. I will slow down to show them how to put their tongue somewhere else, how to use their muscles to pronounce the certain sounds that don't exist in their language. So that actually trained myself to speak really clearly. I think that's about enunciation. And another reason is so I've talked about why you understand me, but now native speakers. Most of native speakers, when they talk, they tend to be very lazy about a lot of sounds. So they mumble. They don't speak clearly. And going on. If you watch a lot of TV shows and movies when they talk, they are not trying to use their muscles to pronounce words. But for me, I'm trying to memorize how to manipulate my muscles to say certain words because in our language we don't have a V sound, we don't have a TH sound, and we don't have other like especially R sound. We do, but different. So I'm always training myself to do those kind of things. And if you watched my previous videos, like a while ago, I was talking about use a certain apps to help you pronounce single sounds, and that's how I train myself to speak clearly too. But not all native speakers are difficult to understand. My colleagues, they are native speakers, but they're also ESL teachers. So students from all over the world, they say same thing. They say they understand their teachers, but when they got out of the classroom, and I almost feel like they entered into a different world. Sometimes they felt like those people don't speak English. My teachers speak English, the perfect English, but my colleagues, my friends, and outside the world, and then at Starbucks, at grocery stores, when they speak, they just don't understand, right? So that's because what my students or some of you learn the English is a classroom English, and what I speak is a classroom English. I tend to speak slowly, clearly, and tend to explain things in a teacher way. I asked my friends, best friends, they are not teachers, they're native speakers, they're not teachers. I asked them to review my videos, and this is the comment I got from them. They said, "You talk like a teacher." So I asked them when I chat with them, is there a difference between how I chat with them and how I talk in this video or in videos? And then and though two people, now she and he, both said that a lot different actually. When I chatted, I tend to speak really fast, and also I tend to be lazy on certain words, and even sentences are not like perfect. So when I talk to them, I just shorten up a few things. But in the videos, I tend to be given a lecture, which is, that's interesting because that's not what I wanted to do. And and that back to the content part and back to the purpose of having this channel is I teach a lot. I use a lot of instructional language, but I don't really have much time or experience to practice my conversational language. So that's why I want to do something different from teaching. I tend to have more chatting videos than the tutorial videos because I want to get rid of my teaching part. I want to be like that. I'm able to chat with you guys kind of English. So that's why I'm doing Coffee Corner more often than the English 101. That's enunciation. Another one is articulation. Again, certain people, when they talk, they explain things clearly, and some people, they don't. For me, back to my profession, right? So I need to explain things very clearly. I learned from the ground zero, right? So to this level, when I first started teaching, my explaining skills were pretty terrible. I thought I explained everything very clearly, but my students definitely didn't think so. So I learned from there. And sometimes I said certain words. I said, "Oh, okay. So what do you mean by different?" I said, "Different means not same." And they will still ask me, "What does same mean?" But you can't go back and say, "Oh, same means different." Then they'll ask you, "What does different mean?" Right? So a lot of simple words that you thought they would understand, but they actually didn't. But there's really no way to explain those simple words in a even simpler way. So I came up with a lot of ideas to explain things like that. And so I actually really think teaching low levels is more challenging than high levels because you have to explain simple concepts in a very simple way that you don't even know how to your students. So that taught me to explain ideas. So every time when I talk and I feel like this is a kind of like complex concept, and I will break it down and talk a little bit more, give a little bit more examples, and maybe that's why you think when I explain things it's easy to understand because you know what? That's my job. I explain things. Another thing is culture. So that is a major thing, I think. I asked a few of my non-native English speaking colleagues. They're from Korea, they're from Nigeria and other countries. I'm the only Chinese. So it's hard to really ask, like, do we share comments? But we did understand when we were talking to our own people, they tend to understand us more because we don't use a lot of cultural references in our sentences. And we tend to use more simple language, which is required by school. So try to avoid idioms, try to avoid jargons, right? Especially not only at the ESL school, when I was teaching in university about their writings and on my policy, like your job description and policy, they actually really mention that stop using jargons to explain things because you want people to understand you. So well, let's just say this way. If I say, well, when I started, I was just a spring chicken, but you probably would have to check what spring chicken means, right? So that is a culture thing. And then I remember I shared some vocabulary on Bilibili, and if you remember, there's dot some i's and cross some t's. And what does that mean, right? So if you follow me long enough, you probably should know that word. If you don't know or you forgot what that means, go back and check it out. And that has a culture, even history stuff going on there. So when native speakers, when they speak, especially when they are not ESL teachers, they speak like a normal person, right? So they have idioms, they have jargons. It's hard to understand what that means without knowing the culture. And remember, in the previous video, I said you're not learning the language, you're learning the culture. And in our classroom, let's say in our EFL, English as a foreign language, right? Not in its ESL field. When you learn English, you probably learn grammar, reading skills, writing skills, listening, speaking skills. You probably watch a lot of things, but you learn. If you're English major, you will learn English literature, but you barely learn English culture. And speaking of English culture, you're not only having one culture there. You have Canadian English culture, American English culture, Australian, England, Scotland, and even New Zealand. Those kind of places, they have a different English cultures too. What people say in the States is different from what we say here in Canada. Even up to the north, Newfoundland and other Yukon, how they say English is totally different from how we say English here, right? So that's a culture thing. I could say people from here barely understand people from Newfoundland, even though they speak same English. But that is culture thing. So back to native speakers. Most of native speakers are in different fields, are doing different jobs, right? They're not trained to be a teacher, to speak clearly, to explain clearly. That's how they how they do conversations, right? So think about ourselves. We are from different cities, provinces. We have slightly different dialects there, and how we talk. Even same food, we have different names for the same food. You say 千叶, we say 豆腐皮, and then you say 千张, and other people say different names. And it's like, what is that? I don't understand about it. It's not about the language. No, it's not about the people. It's about the language, right? It's about the locations. It's about the culture thing among us. So that's why I think you guys understand me better than native speakers, is because I speak clearly, I speak slowly, especially when it comes to the content or the topics I'm not very familiar with, so I tend to slow down because I am also learning too. I'm not here to teach you. I'm here learning with you guys together so we can improve together, right? So my instructional language, good. My conversational language, I'm still learning, right? So that's one thing. Another thing is articulation. I think that is a good skills for everybody to learn, especially when you want to present anything. So you want to articulate your thoughts very well. You want to be organized. You want people to listen to you, how to do it. Make your complex concepts simple. Make them accessible to other people. Make them organized and easy to follow. Right, so that is about articulation. And then for the culture part, I highly, highly recommend learn cultures. If you're in Britain, if you're in Australia, if you're in the States, in Canada, learn their cultures, understand how and why they speak in this way, and how they use that kind of idioms, why they use that kind of idioms. And that will help you better understand the language and better take them into practice as well. So that is my answer to all those kind of comments. I hope this is a short video, but I did find some things here I want to share, and I found a website. I will share this with you too. So a lot of articles didn't explain why they understand non-native speakers, but a lot of articles definitely mentioned how you don't understand native English speakers. So I found this article. It says one reason you may not be able to understand native English speakers is this: Native English speakers speak differently depending on their age, where they were born, and their style or experiences, right? Think about how Valley girls talk and think about how old people talk, right? So, again, this mentioned different regions with the different accents and the way of speaking. I will find that video for you guys, and I think that's my favorite channel on YouTube. They talk about 50 accents from 50 states or 50 ways to say certain things in 50 states. 50? 50 states. I think so. So I will find that video. And also mention that you are used to classroom English, right? So the English classroom may be the most dangerous place for you to spend your time if you want to become fluent in English. So if English in the classroom is the only way you access or the only way you learn English, that might be dangerous because you know how to use textbook English, but not conversational English. I mentioned that too. Yay. So what you need to do, of course, is you need to get out of the English classroom if you want to be fluent in English. That's what I'm doing, right? So I'm trying to get out of my English classroom and trying to be some content related content creator, of course. So doing something different, different topics, different contents. So in this way, I also learn how to speak English. In this way, I also kind of learn more knowledge and cultures that I'm not familiar with, right? So and last one, and the last one is here it says, let's learn real English. Also, this is for me, right? So I want to learn real English, not just teaching English. So here it says, do not just focus on grammar rules. If you want to learn real natural English, then you need to learn English phrases and phrasal verbs. So same thing for me too. I think my language is relatively too simple, and that's why I'm always learning vocabulary and phrases from TV shows, from podcasts, and even from books, and try to use them in my video so I know how to use them, right? So that's my last thing. Again, back to everything, why you understand me, why you don't understand native speakers. I just want you to know that I'm not a standard. I'm still trying to learn as well. My English is not perfect too, right? So a lot of language, a lot of phrases, a lot of words, or even sentence structures, I tend to use simple ones because that's easier for me. But I'm also learning to use more complicated ones so I can advanced, right? For native English speakers, they're also not standards too. How do you define them? Well-educated native speakers and just native speakers. I can find a homeless guy on the street. They speak perfect English. I can say they're native speakers. You can argue with me about it. Right. But I can also find a professor from a university who is a native speaker as well. And they speak really well and they explain things very well too. I have no problem understanding them. Not being able to understand a homeless guy doesn't mean my English is not good. Being able to understand your professors might show you something that you are really outstanding, right? So don't set a standard for you to limit yourself. You understand me very good. I'm very happy. That means I explain things well. Don't understand native speakers, that's also fine. That can't destroy your confidence because you're still learning what professions they're doing, on what areas they're from, and even what background they have might affect how you understand them as well. Right. So don't let them destroy your confidence and don't let me to lower your standard as well. So always look forward, always learn more, be hungry, be curious, and let's learn together. Right. Yeah. Okay. And Bob said hi. And that's it. I hope this video is a short. Every time I say that. But I really hope this video is short. I hope I answered your questions. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you don't, I'm also fine too, because you know what? You made this far to say you don't like this video. Anyway, next video, I was thinking about something else. I had that in my mind, but it kind of like slipped away. But I will let you know. Stay tuned. Bye. Take care.